All right, let's dive deep into a subject that, affects millions of us, but we rarely talk about it with the seriousness it really deserves. We're talking about that complex and often painful reset of sibling relationships that happens late in life. We're going to break down exactly why those old fights suddenly catch fire again and give you a clear roadmap for how to navigate it all. It is such a bizarre and jarring moment, isn't it? It's like psychological time travel. You could be talking about something serious, like a parent's medical care, and then, bam, a switch just flips. The person across from you is no longer your peer, this fellow adult with decades of their own life experience. All of a sudden, they're your childhood rival. And what's even crazier is you feel yourself sliding right back there with them. That same hot anger, those same old feelings of unfairness from 50 years ago, they just bubble up like no time has passed at all. So why? Why does this happen?
Well, this isn't just you being emotional. It actually has a name, the primitive script reactivation. I want you to think of your brain like a computer. It has this base code, an operating system, that was written way back in early childhood. Now, for decades, that code has been running quietly in the background. No big deal. But when the central authority figures in your life, your parents, start to fade, the whole system gets a shock. And what does it do? It reverts back to its most basic, primitive programming. The most important thing to get here is that this fight, it isn't really about what's happening right now. It's an old script playing out on a brand new stage.
And that right there is why these arguments feel so impossible. You think you're fighting about who should handle the inheritance, but what's really happening subconsciously is that you're both trying to settle an old score. Researchers call it an unresolved fairness debt. This could be about anything: who got the bigger room, who was the favorite child, who always got stuck with the chores. When your parents are no longer in that leadership role, it creates this structural role vacuum, and your brains are just scrambling to fill it by fighting every single old battle all over again. Just understanding that's the first step to breaking the cycle.
Okay, so the big question is, why now? Why does this volcano of old feelings erupt in your 60s and 70s? Why not 20 years ago? Well, the answer is in a massive, fundamental shift in the family structure itself. For most of your life, your family operated on what you could call vertical authority. Your parents were at the top. Simple as that. They were the managers, the referees, the final say on what was fair. They made the rules and they kept the peace. But now you're smack in the middle of the great generational pivot. That vertical structure has collapsed and it's been replaced by a horizontal peerage. It's just you and your siblings now, on a level playing field with no higher authority to go to. And honestly, this is a totally new game, and your brain just wasn't prepared for it.
This pivot creates this deeply uncomfortable psychological state called status incongruence. See, you know who you are today: a competent professional, maybe a parent or grandparent, a leader in your community, a whole adult. But your sibling's brain, trying to make sense of this new flat structure, might be trying to shove you back into your childhood box. They still see you as the irresponsible one, or the bossy one, or the golden child. And look, this isn't always malicious. It's often just a subconscious thing they're doing to hold onto their own role from that old family script. So let's unpack a few of the forces that are really churning under the surface here. First, you've got that comparison paradox we just talked about. Then there's the identity of the caregiver. The unbelievable stress of caring for aging parents is like pouring gasoline on a fire. All those old arguments about who does more or who's sacrificing more, they come roaring back, but now they feel life or death. And finally, you have something called the sentinel effect. This is a deep biological instinct to protect our rank within our family tribe. When the whole structure changes, we feel this primal need to defend our status, and that often comes out as conflict.
When you're in the thick of it, feeling that white-hot rage, it is so easy to beat yourself up. You're probably thinking, I'm 65 years old, I run a department, why am I acting like I'm 12? It's a critical question, because it can lead to a lot of shame, and that only makes things worse. But the answer is so important for your own peace of mind.
I really want you to hear this. This is not a personal failing. You are not being immature. What you're feeling is a biological demand for closure. Your brain is literally hardwired for survival and for resolution. And it sees this moment, this power vacuum, as its last chance to finally win a war that started decades ago in the backseat of the family car. This is a normal, if really painful, part of what's known as relational recalibration. And just knowing that can be incredibly freeing.
So, knowing why this is all happening is step one. But now, let's get to the important part. What do you do about it? This brings us to a huge turning point, a mindset shift you have to make to get from conflict to peace. We call it the sovereign imperative.
The goal is not to win the old argument. I'm going to say that again. The goal is not to win. The goal is to achieve relational sovereignty. This is the core idea. It's your absolute, undeniable right to be seen, to be treated, and to be respected as the person you are today, not the kid you were when you were 10. Peace isn't found by digging up the past. It's found on the mutual agreement to see each other as the adults you are right now.
This requires a pretty brilliant mental flip. You have to stop seeing yourself as the offended sibling, the victim. Instead, you have to step up and become the sovereign lead. You're no longer a soldier fighting an old war. You are a diplomat showing up to sign a new peace treaty. And this treaty is based on today's reality, not yesterday's baggage.
And why is this so critical? Because the stakes are incredibly high right now. The energy you are wasting on these old fights is vital. You need it for caregiving, for your own health, for planning your future. Achieving this sovereignty lowers your stress. It stops you from getting so emotionally drained that you can't think straight. It helps you make better financial decisions. And maybe most importantly, it frees you from waiting for an apology that, let's be honest, is probably never going to come.
And this, right here, is where you take back all your power. For years, maybe decades, you've been stuck asking, why won't they change? Why can't they just see it my way? The sovereign shift is moving to a new question. Okay, given who they are, how will I choose to respond? You can't control them, you can't change the past, but you have 100% control over your own actions. Your power is in choosing to stop playing by the rules of that primitive script.
So, we've covered the why. Now let's get really practical. How do you actually do this when you're in a heated moment? This section is your toolkit, a system we call the Peer Alignment Protocol.
These 5 steps are your new rules of engagement. They're designed to act like buffers, really, to keep you from getting sucked back into that old vortex and to protect your emotional energy. Let's walk through each one.
First up, the adult identity mirror. This is your emergency brake for when you feel that childlike anger bubbling up. The second you feel it, just stop, take a breath, and in your head list 3 things that define your adult self. I'm the CEO of my company, I raised 3 amazing kids, I serve on a charity board. This simple little exercise re-anchors your brain in who you are now, this competent, capable adult. It reminds your nervous system that you are not that powerless kid anymore.
Now, this second tool might be the most powerful one you have. It's the narrative boundary. When your sibling drags up some old story, some old failure to try and put you back in that childhood box, you use this phrase. You say it calmly, you say it firmly, and with zero anger. That isn't who I am anymore, and I'm not discussing it. See, that's not an invitation for a debate. It's a locked door. It shuts the old script down cold.
The protocol has a few other identity defense systems too. There's functional transparency. For tasks like caregiving or estate planning, move all the communication to a shared document, like a Google Sheet. This injects objectivity and just starves the emotional drama. Then there's the Socratic pivot. When your sibling is getting all worked up, ask a simple logic-based question like, what is the actual outcome you want from this conversation? It pulls their brain out of the emotional past and into the logical present. And finally, use the sovereign connection standard. You get to decide the terms. Maybe that means you only meet in public safe zones like a coffee shop where everyone tends to be on their best behavior.
I want you to picture these old fights as a game of tug-of-war. Your sibling is yanking on their end of the rope, trying to pull you into that same old struggle. For years, you've probably been pulling back with everything you've got. The most powerful, high-status, sovereign move you can make is to just let go of the rope.
Okay, let's zoom out, because handling this isn't just about surviving the next phone call. It's about reframing this entire stage of your life into something that's actually empowering and positive.
It is so important that you get this. This conflict, this friction that you're feeling, it is not a sign that your family is failing. It's a sign that you are succeeding. It's proof of your own individual growth. The reason that old childhood box feels so suffocating is because you've outgrown it. You're a bigger, wiser, more complex person than that tiny role allows for. The friction is a sign of your evolution. And listen, the reward for getting through this is huge. Research shows again and again that people who successfully transition their sibling relationships from those old, scripted roles into a real, respectful peerage, well, they report much higher levels of life satisfaction in their later years. The hard work you put in now pays off in peace and happiness for the rest of your life.
Hold on to this idea of yourself. You are a master of integration. You have spent more than half a century building a unique, capable self. You've navigated careers, you've raised families, you've overcome who knows what. Your task now is to figure out how to offer that amazing, fully formed self to your family without all that heavy, rusty armor from your childhood.
So what is the one single thing you can do starting today? It's this simple. Drop the rope. When you feel that tug, when they try to pull you into that old dance, just let it go.
As we wrap up, I want you to remember this key truth. Your sibling does not have the power to define you anymore. Only you have that power. You have the absolute right to be an adult in your own family. The best way to start is just by setting one single narrative boundary the next time an old script comes up. And never, ever forget what the real goal is. It's not to win. It's not even to walk away. The goal is to build a peaceful, supportive peerage that can be a real source of comfort and strength for all the years to come.
You have more than earned this. It's the culmination of a lifetime of wisdom. So, audit the old, outdated script. Anchor yourself in the capable adult you are today. And lead your life and your family relationships with the calm confidence and sovereignty that is absolutely, rightfully yours.